What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 11 of the Miami Marlins Out of Park Baseball 25 series. We're here. Just wrapped up the 2026 season where we won the World Series and just our third season of this rebuild. Way ahead of schedule, I may say. But yeah, now we look ahead to the offseason trying to defend our title. So let me just go through. I made some moves already. They were just kind of things that needed to be done. So let's actually go to my team transaction log. Not that. I want major transactions. Okay. So whatever. We signed a bunch of guys to arbitration stuff. So I guess the biggest trade that we made was we did ship off Jarren Duran. I like Jarren, but I mean, he wasn't great with the bat. He doesn't walk really enough. And I think we have some other options. You know, he was just a platoon guy at the end of the day, and he wasn't really a good hitter either. Yeah, he steals a ton of bases and everything, but he was going to make $6.5 million with a small budget team like ourselves. We kind of need to make every dollar worth it, and I think there's better ways to use that $6 million. So we shipped him to Atlanta and got this guy, Alfredo Becerra, in return. A 16-year-old, real like low minors type of guy, but well developed. At the age of 16, you know, surprisingly. He'll pitch in the Dominican League. He already did last year, and he was okay. So we'll see if he ever turns into anything, but he was like the one good offer. They also threw in $1 million cash. And then the other trade was Jeremy Pena, who was still under control with us through arbitration since he was non-tendered by Houston the year before. We just, you know, I wanted to get Yiddy Cape kind of the backup infielder job next year. He'd hit well enough that I think he can be a good piece for us, and also comes in a league minimum. You know, Pena wasn't going to make a ton; he was going to make 3.2. But again, we have to make every dollar worth it. So we shipped him to the White Sox along with Grant McCray, who was on the 40. We wanted to clear up another 40-man spot. You know, I like Grant McCray. Obviously, he was a star in our Nashville series last year. And then he fell off. I gave him a big contract, and then I traded him, brought him back, and he was awesome. He was just a great story in that series, but I love me some Grant McCray. But we also shipped him off in this deal. But we got a good return in back from Chicago. So Cody Schreier, a former third-round pick, I believe. Yeah, right at the beginning of the third round. Pretty decent upside overall. Could be a good utility infielder, good leader, good work ethic. 23 years old. Should not be in rookie ball, though. Probably put him in Double-A. So we picked up him and Marco Rea in return, who could factor into our rotation plans, depending on how the season plays out. He started 2 games for Chicago last year, appeared in 32 total, an 8-14 record, the 5.66 ERA. But I like this build, a good all-around pitcher. We've had good success with these guys. The FIP is much better than the ERA. You know, his triple slash, I guess you call it for a pitcher, 9 Ks, 3 walks, 1.5 home runs, pretty average. And with a good defensive catcher, I think it could even tick up a bit. So we'll see what we get from those two. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for us to get rid of Pena. Grant McCray, tough to give up, but you know, he probably wasn't going to factor into our plans realistically. But besides that, we're bringing everyone pretty much back. I do need to make a decision on these two. Maldonado, I believe I offered a contract to. No, I didn't. So we'll bring back Maldonado. He's fine. Anthony Bender is a more interesting case. I still like his stuff a lot. But, I mean, he's going to make 2.2. I think that's actually kind of reasonable. So let's bring back Bender. Worst case, we can trade him. It's not a ton of money or anything. And then for qualifying offers, we have Dylan Cease, who's available to get one. See what he accepts. He actually might accept a 1-year deal at that amount. Okay, we don't even have enough money to offer it. So just to be able to see what would happen theoretically, let's just drop our draft budget to 0 for a second. So he probably won't accept a 1-year deal. Yeah, Okay, he's not going to accept a 1-year deal. At least I would guess. So we'll throw him to qualifying. And then Trevor Rogers, another guy. Yeah, he wants a ton of money at this point. I had the opportunity to extend him for way cheaper a couple of years ago, but he's had a couple excellent seasons in a row. But we'll get the qualifying offer for both of those guys. So we'll have 2 more picks in this year's draft. Eric Fetty is a guy I'm actually considering bringing back. He had a low-key nice season for us. A FIP well below league average, ERA well above league average. And he was really good in that swingman role. So I think he could be a nice 5th starter for us. And he doesn't want any money. So, a 1-year deal worth $1.5 million. Okay, he wants a 2-year deal. I would go 2 years, but I do want a team option for that second. We'll give him a $150,000 buyout. All right, that'll get it done. So 2 years, $3 million for a 5th starter or a swingman. I mean, that's a good deal, especially after what he did last season. So Josh Simpson's kind of the only notable guy who's being, I guess, cut from the team entirely. He's just, I don't know. He's out of options, which is kind of the big reason. If he had options, would have kept him around, but I just don't think he's guaranteed a spot on this team or anything. So I'd rather not spend a league minimum salary on him, essentially. So besides that, all of these guys I think we're going to bring back. Yeah, I mean, all of these guys, yeah, they're all pretty good. Okay, and then we made a couple of waiver claims. So Lamar King was a guy that Philly waived. He's not very impressive offensively, and defensively he's fine. But he's crushed A-ball as a 22-year-old. So I'm just going to give him throw a flyer out there. We'll see how he plays. And then we also claimed Emmanuel Rodriguez from Minnesota. They obviously didn't see him in their long-term plans. After making an appearance in 2025, he never made it really above high A last season. I mean, that's just the promotion-demotion thing in this game, but he has good high, decent power, and we'll see. He'll compete. He'll kind of play for that Jaron Duran spot. So that's that. Development lab. We have 6 guys that we're tentatively going to send. So Hayden Birdsong. We're going to try to increase his movement. He still has a little bit to tick up there, and I really like him for his long-term prospects as like a middle. A good 4-starter. Yuri Perez, we're going to try his control again. He's just walking, a few too many guys for my liking. 3.2. It's not high or anything, but it could be better. So we're going to work on his control potentially. Luke Adams, going to work on his avoid Ks. I like this player a lot. I don't know if he's a third baseman. Maybe we work on his defense instead. Yeah, let's do that. So Luke Adams, here you are. Let's work on his defense. Because I mean, if he could be a good third baseman, tick up his arm to a 60, everything else goes up to 50, 45. He could be a legit third baseman and kind of supplant Casey Schmidt, who will be back for us next season. And then Luis Herrera, we're going to try to just improve his avoid Ks. He just hasn't been able to make it in A-ball so far. I think it has to do with the 46% strikeout rate. So we'll give him a ride on that, see how he does. Luis Rosado, going to do the same thing with him, just try to get these guys out of rookie ball as fast as possible. And then Jason DeCaro, our first-round pick last season, looks like a really nice pitcher. Could be an excellent 3-starter on our team potentially within the next few years. So he pitched well in rookie ball and A-ball last season. And we're going to work on his velocity. He's only 92 to 94. We'll see if we can tick that up to 93, 95, maybe 94, 96. That would make him probably an excellent pitcher. So, yeah, that's the lab. And then we have a pretty much a brand new staff coming in. We're bringing back Skip Schumacher. But then we're bringing in a new... our pitching coach retired. I forgot about that. I need to put someone in there. David Richardson, kind of an older fella. Could try him or Philip Wilkins, who is actually in our system and projects as a pretty good pitching coach, and a little bit younger too. So let's actually promote him to our pitching coach. And then we'll just kind of promote everyone internally here. Yeah, I'll have to go through offers from these guys, but that's the first part of the offseason, kind of what we've gone through, and we'll come back when there's something to update on, maybe around free agency or award season. Okay, so we're here at the start of, well, a couple days into free agency and everything, but I'm really ticked off. So Logan Webb went on the trade block, and I had a package made up that it pretty much stripped our farm system clean besides our top 3 guys. And he wound up getting traded to the Blue Jays for this guy, Josh Hammond, who's not even as good as, like, our 3rd best prospect in that deal. This guy, Aponte, again, same story, and David Shields. So, I mean, yeah, I was having to maintain about that much money, maybe a little bit more, but still, ridiculous. So we did not get Logan Webb. That was kind of a luxury thing anyway. We still have some good options, I think. So this is what the team looks like as we hit free agency. The 40-man's pretty much filled up. Tobias Myers should be back for the regular season. Bradley Blaylock, same story with him. So we'll have some guys fight out for the 5th starter spot. Marco Ray will be in the mix. Blaylock, Myers. Even Birdsong's not necessarily guaranteed that 4th starter spot, but I think he pitched well enough. Pearson Ole will also compete. Maybe Sixto Sanchez, I'll get him in the mix. We'll figure out that 5th starter spot. We do have a few offers out in free agency. We gave an offer to Jeff Hoffman, kind of our big splash of $4 million, or 3.8, I think. Yeah. I really like his stuff. He was cheap. He's fragile, which is obviously concerning, but we'll give it a ride with Jeff, see if he can make it through a full season. We're also looking to bring back Edward Cabrera, who we traded away a few years ago in the Arteaga. What was this trade? Traded Jake Berger. Wow, what a robbery this was. Arteaga finished. He got some MVP votes this year. I'll go to that in a second, but. Yeah, we got Casey Schmidt, Elliot Ramos, who gave us like a half a good season, and Grant McRae, who wound up flipping for Cody Schreier this offseason. Ramos no longer with the team anymore. We sent him down. He didn't play too well in AAA, and he kind of just fizzled out after a really good 36 game sample in 2024. Give him some opportunities, just never really came through again. So. Also gave an offer to Cade Cavalli, a guy that I like, has some control issues, but and also struggled mightily last year with Washington, but had a couple of decent seasons before. It's a minor league deal, so only a little bit guaranteed money. And then Luis Espinoza, a fireballing lefty. The control movement are obviously an issue, but only 22. We'll see if he can turn into something. The free agent pool isn't amazing this offseason. It's led by like Sandy Alcantara, Kevin Gausman, Walker Buehler, so some like aging starters. Trevor Rogers is here. I'd love to bring him back, but we're not gonna be able to afford him at this point. And Castellanos is like the big hitter. I guess he's fine, but there was a couple of guys that I liked. Griffin Canning only wants $15 million. I really like him. Had a good season last year. The ERA wasn't impressive, but the FIP was well below league average. It's kind of hovered around that 90 to 100 FIP mark since the series started. About a league average ERA every season. Could be a good reclamation project for us. We've had some pretty good luck with those type of pitchers, but probably going to price us out at the moment. But if his price falls, we can kind of swoop in like we did last year for Dylan Cease. And then AJ Puck's a free agent now. Shoulder inflammation. How did he wind up doing? Yeah, so we traded him last year. He was good for Chicago for sure once we dealt him. And then this season looks like he got hurt. Shoulder inflammation. Always a cause for concern when it happens in this game. Bryson Stott was the guy that I was looking at for some second base depth. that is one thing. Like, you look at this team right now. I guess I was screwing around with this a little bit, but as it stands, we have the DH spot open against righties. Against lefties, not so much. We also have Wes Clark as an option against lefties, but this, we'd love a left-handed hitter basically right here. So my thinking is kind of to do this and then throw Bryson Stott at second. And he has some excellent defense over there. Can for sure fill in it short if we need him. But that would kind of push Yidi Cape out of the plans, which I don't want to, just do that for the sake of signing someone who's, put up a 60 to 68 WRC plus the last 3 seasons. I think he has a little bit more juice in him, but, also has some good speed. Stole 15 bases last year. Plays good defense, kind of our Jeremy Pena of last year. So, I don't know. He's so good at second, though. But, I don't know. We're probably better off going a little bit more offensive oriented at that position. So, Nathaniel Lau would be sweet. He hasn't been great at all in this series, and he does want a bit of money. Could we grab him on like a 1-year, $10 million deal? It's a little bit rich for a platoon bat, but I think he'd be an excellent one. Just look at like all batters. I'm just looking for anyone who's kind of affordable here. Josh Naylor. Doesn't bring a ton of pop, but he did hit 27 bombs last year. Was amazing for Seattle when they got him. Holy crap. And he'd be an ideal DH. Has some really good splits against righties. If he'd go for a 1-year deal at $8 million, that get it done? It could. Okay, so yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. He doesn't really have the eye. I'm trying to improve our on-base stuff this year because our owner does want us to do that. Tyler Stevenson is also a guy that I looked at, but we don't really need a guy against lefties at this point. Lamont Wade, he's kind of perfect in this role. He doesn't quite have the splits that I want, but he could also be a good, versatile piece. Put him at right, put him in the corner outfield spots, or put him at first in the corner outfield spots. Kind of off a rough year, but is a guy who gets on base, which is something that we desperately need. Brandon Belt, kind of a very toned down version of not even Josh Naylor, just like one of those on base first base guys. He's basically Wes Clark on the left side. Michael Conforto? He's definitely just a DH at this point. He's cheap. Coming off an okay season for Kansas City, I think he has a little bit more in him. I actually think this makes a lot of sense. It's a minor league deal, so you know what? We can bring in both of those guys, kind of see who wins out. Although that doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, I'm actually going to redact this offer for Naylor. It's a little rich for a platoon guy. So let's throw a couple of darts here at minor league offers to some guys who could potentially play in that platoon spot. I love David Dahl. Always wish he was able to work out, but fortunately didn't have a long career at all. But he's still hanging around. I think he's actually playing okay for San Diego right now. Could be wrong about the team. Let's see. Kyle Isbell's a nice backup outfielder. Nicky Lopez, the prized possession of last year's deadline. I forgot when you were looking to trade him, but he was so bad. I might just sign him for the hell of it. He's a nice guy to have in the system. He hasn't won anything. Love me some Jorge Mateo. As a bench piece, you can definitely do worse. Bring back Austin Meadows after his horrible half-season stint with us a few years back. Jose Miranda's a guy that I like. I think he's really good against lefties. Hasn't made an appearance in the majors since 2024, which is just wild. He's played well too. I mean, if he's just gonna sit there, I'll throw him a minor league offer. Lars Nootbaar is kind of in that same mold of guys that I'm looking for. Okay, I think it's a good mix of players. Ooh, Salvi. He's looking for a minor league deal. I think it'd be sweet to bring in Salvi. He's already been traded, so. Went to Pittsburgh, was okay, and then Cincinnati was rough last year. But he's a captain. I don't know if he'd supplant Alfonso necessarily behind the plate, but yeah, we'll see what happens with those guys. So we'll keep some ahead. Come back when something else happens. Okay, so there's some context needed for this trade. So our owner, he wants us to acquire an MVP, basically this offseason, and I'd like to keep him happy. So I have this trade lined up for Chris Bryant, who is a former MVP. Still not a bad player. He's about a league average hitter the last 3 seasons, playing in Colorado. But, he has some defensive versatility still. He can play third, he can play first, left and right. Is a little injury prone, but hasn't dealt with too much the last few seasons. He's still a decent player, I think. So they're going to retain 70% of the deal. He has 2 years left. Means they're going to be on the hook for $8 million. Not untradeable if we need to clear out money. So we're also picking up Chase Dolander in this trade. Former, 4th pick? 7th pick? He was somewhere in the top 10. The Rockies took him. He has just not really made himself a part of their future plans, walking too many guys. The home runs have been an issue as well, but I don't know. He's a good dart throw. A guy who I think he could really play up as a reliever. So that's their side, and then on our side, we're gonna have John Cruz, who is a borderline top 200 guy, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's probably 250 or maybe 300 in the top prospects list, but has some upside and still really young and didn't play horribly in high A last season. Nigel Belgrave, who is it's a decent relief prospect. Relief prospects, whatever, they are what they are. I'm not going to hold back a trade. And Sam Erickson, a former 6th round pick in our first year, just really has struggled in A-ball and hasn't been able to do anything in 2 seasons. Was slightly better this year, but still overall was not good. But he's only 21. He still has some upside. And then Brian Hoeing, who made an impact, I guess, the first year of this save, but has been stuck in the minors the last 2 years. We're going to throw him in as well. So they're going to eat 70% of the deal. We're on the hook for about $8 million, $7.8 million, I guess, for the next 2 years. It's not ideal, but I wanted to get an MVP on this team, and I think Brian's actually, I think he can actually play a role in the squad as like a DH type. So, and our fans love it too. So, fan interest up to 84. Our season tickets are also just booming. I did increase the ticket price from $32.50 to $34. The projected revenue is massive. So we're making moves here, and in going into year 4 of the save. So yeah, where does Brian exactly slide in? We'll have to see. Our 40-man is full, so I got to do something about that. Lamar King is a third catcher on the 40-man, but we got guys like Austin Hedges down here I think can fill in if there was an injury. We haven't had any injuries in the last 2 years. I also this guy, Miramontes. Defensively, he's really good. So I'm going to roll the dice if King gets claimed, whatever. Okay, so yeah, Brian will probably slot in at DH. Maybe left. I don't know how his defensive ratings are these days. Oh, they're okay. He's actually pretty good out there. Oh yeah. He's slightly worse than Jesus Sanchez, so I'll play him at DH for now. And then against lefties, he'll probably mix in left. Shane Suzaki can also get some at bats there. We'll see how this all plays out, but I also like how this adds a little bit more depth to the lineup. So we'll do something like this, and then we'll have Robert third, maybe. Actually, I like Rafaela. Where's Rafaela batting usually? He's batting second, so I actually like that. Then we'll maybe put Jacob Berry. We'll put Bryant, Adams, Arteaga, Schmidt, Bailey. That's a pretty good lineup, I'd say. Definitely not too bad. Okay, so I think this team's in good shape. We have our minor league deals out there. Just checking in on those. Jeff Hoffman, someone countered me on that deal, so I just let him go. Is this a major league deal that I gave Lars Nootbaar? Shoot, I didn't want to do that. Tanner Houck I also offered a contract to. I just like Tanner Houck. He's been okay for Boston. Definitely things that he does well. Yeah, but I can't give Nootbaar a major league deal, unfortunately. Our roster is just completely full. But I will give Houck one because he's a guy worth cleaning out for. And then update: Trevor Rogers signed. He went. Let me see. Yeah, Luke Adams didn't improve his defense, unfortunately. That would have been big. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so we got a supplemental first-round pick. Trevor Rogers goes to Boston. 7 years, $116 million. That's like 16 per season. 16.7 something. Yeah, good luck to him out there. Hopefully he does well. He was great for us. I'm definitely going to miss him, but he was just too expensive for the pitcher that he was. And I think Hayden Birdsong is basically him, just a little bit better maybe. Okay, so gonna keep moving forward. We'll be back in just a couple months. Okay, so we're a couple days into spring, and our development things finally came through. So Hayden Birdsong, outstanding. He wound up increasing his home runs allowed and home runs allowed by 10, and his movement by 5, which is just excellent. So yeah, really excited for Hayden Birdsong in his probably true rookie year after getting cups of coffee up in the last 2 seasons. But he was awesome in the playoffs from what I remember. So super excited. Yuri Perez did not improve. Luis Herrera and Luis Rosado did not improve. And Jason DeCaro did not improve his velocity. But I think it naturally ticked up, I believe. Yeah. So there you go. It looks like, oh man, yeah, he had a little bit of a downgrade in his stuff the last scouting report. His velocity did increase though. He still looks like a good player. And then Yudi Cape, he improved his defense. His range dropped to a 55, but it's back up to a 60. Yeah, this is the team during spring. We're just going to see how some of these guys do. I got to set my lineups and everything, but we'll be back after spring training to see who made the team. All right, so here we are, opening day. Our owner wants us to make the playoffs. Not going to be unattainable, obviously. Defending champs. Hopefully we can make the playoffs, but quick update, minor league system. We are first overall in the league. Luis Herrera for like the 3rd straight year is the number 1 prospect. Luis Rosado right behind him at number 4. And then I forgot to mention Alexis Cadena was our big international guy we got this time. I get we say I'm going to go for quantity, and then there's just like one guy like this that I just can't really pass up. 6'3", 185, so he's got a good frame. 17 and already really well developed. Does lack intelligence, but good work ethic. And hopefully he's a piece for us in the future. Jason DeCaro falls from like top 30 to number 59. Manuel Rodriguez, a guy we claimed on waivers, which I kind of feel bad for now, but they also just weren't going to play him, so whatever. He's number 62. Ethan Wheeler, second round pick last year. He is just inside the top 100 at number 93. And then Luke Adams, who should graduate, he makes the opening day team at 133. And then Brad Sonnerborn, he was our first round pick, supplemental round pick last season after a really good season in rookie ball. And then, yeah, there's the rest of the guys. Most of these guys have actually come onto the team from us drafting them, so that's really cool. Chase Dolander is down here, who just missed out on making the team. But yeah, he'll start the year in AAA. As for the roster, we're going to carry 14 hitters to start the year. Wes Clark just forced my hand. He was incredible during the spring. And then Luke Adams, who would have been the guy who lost the roster spot, he was just as good during the spring. So both of those guys are going to make the team. They're both going to play a ton. Yidi Kape also makes the teams. Our backup infielder, Tommy Gaines, a guy who's out of options, so I couldn't demote him. Didn't want to lose him either, so he'll start the year on the roster. He'll mix in against lefties. I mean, pretty much everyone's going to play either against lefties or righties. And then, yeah, everything else is pretty much as expected. No real surprises. But we are carrying an extra hitter to start the year. Pitching-wise, it's Perez, Luzardo, Garrett, Birdsong, and Tanner Houck. I'm going to put him in the rotation. I liked how he finished out the year, finished out the spring. Wasn't particularly good or anything, but I still like his upside. So he's going to be a fifth starter to start the season. Ling will be our closer. Nardi, Maldonado, our setup men. And then Anthony Bender, Kate Cavalli makes the team. After a pretty good spring, he struck out a ton of guys, and I was just kind of impressed by his numbers. So he makes the squad, and then Max Mayer as well. Eric Fetty will start the year as our long man. Could move into the rotation if we need him to, but I like him in that role. So, yeah, we have a bunch of guys who didn't make the team down here. You can see all of them. Some could feature on the team, but we'll see about that. Yeah, I guess that's it. So let's jump into opening day, where we'll have Yuri Perez. It's actually tomorrow. Oh, also, Ryan Weathers. How the heck did he wind up back on my team? What? Oh my god, he was a Rule 5 pick. Somehow he was returned to our team. I'll take Ryan Weathers. Not sure how he wound up back over here. That's a little glitchy, but no worries. Okay, we have a bunch of guys to add to the 40. We have one open spot, so at least Cade Cavalli. I think that's it, actually. Nope, that was it. Okay, so we'll have Shane Bieber against Yuri Perez opening day. Let's do it. Win 3-1 in our title defense season. Really good day for the I guess, I don't know. It was a fine day for the offense, and then Yuri Perez, what a performance, following up his great playoff run last season. Game 2, we'll have Dylan Lesko against Jesus Luzardo. And we will wait for this. And we went 8-4. Good day offensively for the team. Jesus Sanchez drives in 3. Chisholm drives in a pair. Emerson Arteaga has 4 hits. And a really good start from Luzardo, Mayer, and Nardi close it out. So looking for the sweep of Arizona. Braxton Garrett on the mound. And we lose 4-3, but we take 2 out of 3 in our opening series. Jesus Sanchez drives in another 2 runs. And Garrett wasn't too bad, but just not enough offensively. Cade Cavalli pitches well in relief. So there you go. That's the episode. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time with a midseason update.